Hey, y'all. Thank you for joining me today. I will be right at the camera. I forgot to get my music on. So if you are catching this live, thank you for joining me. But I'm just getting my audio together because I want to share with you some really fresh, really new content. I've actually been going live on TikTok more. And so I have decided that I want to try it out and see about going live on YouTube today.
Bluetooth mode. Bluetooth connected. Found national debt relief and things.
So I'm going to be on here for about an hour today. And so I want to thank you for joining me. I'm not going to be on camera. And so that's just how it is today. I'm not going to be on camera, but I'm just running this through and testing this out. If you are joining this live, sorry about the delay. I know it took a couple minutes to get started, but here we go. Today I am sharing with you some tools that have just absolutely transformed how I approach not only manifestation, but visualization. Just clearing out some of the murk, some of the muck that has been on my mind, just things that I've carried. People have experiences, right? And these experiences shape how we perceive and how we conceptualize and just our perception of life. And these experiences, whether we keep telling ourselves over and over about this experience and it becomes like a trauma, or we tell ourselves over and over about the experience and it becomes momentum, how we see and how we perceive what we've experienced really does shape our view and our way of being. And if you don't have a clear idea on who you're supposed to be, and you don't have a clear idea of how you're going to get it done, and you don't have a clear idea of who you have conceptualized yourself to be, what happens is you get caught in what's called the matrix. You get caught in what's called this: I have to be here at this time, because if I'm not here at this time, I don't get the reward. And so I'm sharing with you some tools that I picked up just recently that I've been really just honing in on. And with that, I share, especially over my TikTok, I'm sharing this content because over there it's just a lot more engagement. So I kind of have just stayed over there by just, I don't know, maybe it's ego, maybe it's vanity, maybe it's just the engagement in the sense of I can see the responses. So if you're here and you're in this time with me, I appreciate you. But with that, I've been finding these tools. First of all, I want to talk to you about, your self-care, your taking care of not just your physical body, but your overall holistic body. We're made up of more than cells. We're made up of waves and particles. So it's how you speak to yourself, where you allow yourself to go, and who you interact with. It's a lot of moving parts and playing roles in our life, right? But if you're not clear on who you are and what you want and how you're going to get it, it takes a little bit longer, and it takes a little bit more work. So over on TikTok, I've been sharing about my pillars and my practices and my rituals and things, and it's just had more engagement. But I'm coming over here to show you how I have been just challenging myself over the last 4 weeks, really. I started on July 21st journaling in this book. It's called the Miracle Journal. It's a manifestation journal. And how aligned I've gotten in a short period of time is so refreshing. because I was starting to get bored with life. I don't know if you've ever gotten bored, but where the day is long because you keep doing the same thing over and over again, like it's Groundhog's Day. And I want to tell you, it's not. We don't have to keep living the same thing over and over again, because you can create something that's far beyond you. You can create something that's generational. You can create something that has a legacy to it. And then it gives your day a different frequency. If you're following that, at least hit some hearts or something, because that's what I'm sharing over there. And that's what has the reception over there. And that's what's given me even more clarity about what I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm supposed to be doing it and who I show up as. So let me turn this thing off. I have two speakers going at the same time, and one was getting a low battery. So with that over there, I shared the miracle journal, the manifestation journal. So I'm going to get into it because I'm going to get even further into the tools that I'm using. So if you are watching at work, you're riding in the car, you're doing some studies, you can just put it on and I'm just going to talk. And if you can focus just for a little bit, you're going to get something from this. Okay. So let me tell you about the Miracle Journal. The Miracle Journal, again, is a book I had bought off TikTok. So if you're not following me on TikTok, you already know you need to be over there, but I'm on InMyDigitalBag over there. But this book, it has so many bonuses, tips, and if you can take screenshots, do it. I'm giving it to you for a freebie. Take the screenshot. Okay. I love Neville Goddard. I love his visualization practices. Another speaker I listen to is, oh my gosh, it would try to leave me that fast, but I listen to Reverend Ike. I listen to teachers who speak about how you're so divinely connected and how your words have power. And if you can visualize the right way, you're going to receive everything that you possibly can imagine, because God always says yes. Source always says yes. Universe always says yes. So if you walk around with a negative attitude, a negative mindset, if you walk around with poor habits, poor reality, you're going to get absolutely what you believe you're supposed to have. But also, if you walk around with a positive mindset, you walk around with powerful intentions, you walk around knowing that you are abundance, you walk around knowing that you are powerful, the universe says yes. God says yes. So then opportunities find you. People who you've never even known found out about you because someone else spoke about how great you are. Your business thrives even more because you get more referrals, basically, right? You're talked about in rooms you never stepped into. That's because you're in alignment with your highest self. And so I like listening to people. If I'm going to listen to some content, I'm going to listen to some people who are saying, this is how you get in alignment. This is how you really shore yourself up, not just for you, but this is how you go and you make peace with your mother's issues and your father's issues. Like, you don't have to bear burdens from your generations before, and you don't have to carry burdens over to your generations that are coming after you. You can break curses and you can create generational reward because you're going to be in alignment. So anyway, I love listening to Neville Goddard. This one says, for life makes on mistakes and always gives man that which man first gives himself. I don't know what you gave yourself today, but if you didn't give yourself an I love you, I'm grateful, I'm thankful to be here. If you, even as something as simple as brushing your teeth, washing your face, drinking that first cup of coffee, if you're having your lunch right now, if you didn't say thank you for anything today, you get back things that you are not thankful for. So then that's why it becomes such a stress to figure out what you're going to eat. That's why it's such a stress for you to go to your job. That's why it's a stress for you to have to deal with your children. Not because those things are not rewarding and positive for you, but because you haven't started to live in appreciation yet. So you got to give yourself what you really want the universe to give back to you. There is no mistake. That's what it's saying. Life, there is no mistake. But anyway, let's keep going, right? So then we're going to go into the table of contents. In the table of contents, it talks about, it's an introduction, and we're going to definitely go into the introduction. But chapter 1 is you create your own reality. Chapter 2 is gratitude is the key. I'm telling you that for a reason. Chapter 3 is cultivating your new dream life. 4 is self-concept and identity. 5 is popular manifestation methods. 6 is reflection prompts. And 7 is monthly reflections. This is going to walk you through if you've never been talked to about, again, using the word manifestation. People have overkilled it at this particular point. But if you really want to talk about manifestation, it's the visualization and your imagination at work. It's you getting in alignment and you doing and saying and being authentically yourself. You're showing up in your own pureness. You're showing up in your own greatness. You're showing up in your own flaws. You're showing up in your own strengths. That's what you, using certain principles and certain laws, that's what you will do, and you will get more of your authentic self. You'll see more of your authentic self. So this is Welcome to the Miracle Journal. It gives a little brief introduction. Then it helps you to get committed to yourself. Now, this is my particular page. I told you I started this book at the end of July. I started this book July 21st of 2025. I started it right before my 43rd birthday. And I made a commitment to myself. The commitment that I made to myself is that I'm going to be open to receiving not just the best parts of life, but I want to be open to receiving everything in life that is meant for me. I'm going to find what I've been seeking, which is myself. I'm going to do the hard parts, which is challenge myself to get uncomfortable. I'm going to commit to sitting with my mind every single day so that I can be clear, so that I can grow, so that I can see and share something along the way. That's what the commitment is about. It talks about then what is manifestation. Manifestation is simply a powerful process of you turning your thoughts and beliefs into reality. So if you believe you can do something, you're absolutely correct. If you believe it's not going to work out, you're absolutely correct. There's no one going to argue with you. The only person that's going to argue about is it going to work out or not for you is yourself. The only person who can tell you that you can or cannot do something is yourself. Because it's how willing are you to be disciplined for what you want? How willing are you to shift your mind and your frequency for what you want? How willing are you to cut out the noise, cut out the chatter, quit repeating the same heartbroken story that you tell yourself that keeps you from becoming everything that you could possibly have been? When are you going to stop telling yourself those stories so that you can be in alignment with who you know you're supposed to be? Because that's what you saw in your visions. When you start sharing things with your children, I'm sure you didn't think you were going to be sharing down trauma every day. I'm pretty sure, certainly, you did not think, even as a child, that I want my children to understand what debt is. I want my children to, and you probably did in the sense of, I want my children to understand what financial freedom is, but you didn't want them to be like, oh man, how do they struggle every day? You don't want your children walking around saying, I'm going to be just like my mom and dad struggling. No one should want that for their children. The first thing that you should think is, I want my children to do better than me. But how do your children do better than you? By seeing you do better than your old self. By seeing you do better than you did yesterday. You kept your word. It's something so simple. But did you do it yesterday? If you didn't, do it today. You didn't have it yesterday? Cool. Figure it out. How are you going to get it today? You talked yourself out of doing that thing you were supposed to do? Well, stop. Do it today. Why would you carry it on for tomorrow? Because that's how you teach your children to be better than you, by being better than yourself. It sounds crazy, but how do you show your children how to challenge themselves? By challenging yourself. And you challenge yourself by challenging your mind, because the mind is always the battlefield. It's always going to come down to what thoughts are you having? What actions are you taking? What behaviors are you allowing for yourself? What vices are you allowing to run you rampant and exhaust you? What relationships are you still staying in trying to be nice? What relationships are you trying to keep because they pay you well? What relationships are you trying to hold on because they tell you things that you want to hear, but they can't do nothing you need them to do? Why do you keep playing the game? That's what manifestation is, though. It's your beliefs and your thoughts about actually who you are getting alignment with reality. That's what it is. You getting in alignment with reality. So let's keep going. Now that we know that manifestation is how your thoughts and how your beliefs get in alignment with reality, how do you actually manifest? So let me give you the example that I saw this morning because I was like, I'm doing it. Y'all know I'm into methods, and this is why I'm sharing this book with you. I'm into manifestation methods and practices and tools. I'm into getting clear about who I am. I'm just into it. I'm into getting clear about why I'm here. I'm into getting clear about how to make changes, not just for me. And it's not really just for my son. I'm making the changes that are necessary for his children and his children's children and his children's 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 children. And however many generations I am blessed to have my seeds and cells and all those things go on. I'm learning how to better me, so when they come, I've already altered the frequency. I've already changed the wave. So they just got to get on. That's what I'm here for. So how do you manifest? This book actually walks you through concepts and techniques. That's why I'm telling you, if you ain't following me now, go ahead and follow me. If you're not on TikTok, go ahead and get on my TikTok, because that's where I really, really go live at. That's where I really go deep at. That's where I really get my engagement in at, because people are actually communicating their techniques as well and what's working for them. And they're getting the book and they're saying, hey, I got the book, and you're right. It does. It helps you really clear up some of that junk you walked around with for too long. So again, it talks to you, how do you manifest? It goes into the practices. It gives you very simple concepts of what is law of attraction, what is law of assumption, what is gratitude, what is the self-concept, what is affirmations, what's your imagination and your visualization practice going to look like, what is you being inspired to take action look like, what is a frequency. Some people don't even listen. I know that we are part of the woke generation where people say you are woke, but let me tell you, I've been woke for a long time. I've been woke for a long time. I knew as a child about frequency and energy, but I didn't use those particular words. You want to know why I knew? I grew up in the deep South. My parents, they were, raising me in Kansas, sure. But when I go home, I don't call Kansas home. I call the South home. Mississippi is home. I go in those backwoods with the women with the herbs. I would go to the church house in the revival time where they would just stomp and you would feel the spirit move. I was out there with the people that were sitting on porches and laughing and listening and understand. Listen, when you really understand why you're here and what you've seen along the way, this will start making sense to you. So let's drive right on in there. It's law of attraction. Law of attraction is you getting alignment with your sayings, with where you focus, with where your energy is going, what your beliefs are. This is you lining up everything that you see, say, do, believe. You're getting in alignment with what you really want to attract. We're going to keep it real simple just in these terms because people understand simplicity. So it's like if you're wanting to attract a relationship, but you don't leave the house, your relationship is going to come however you get social. So if you want to get attraction, just hold with me. But you're not doing anything to catch attraction, It doesn't matter if the person's cute or not. That's so vain and so simple. It doesn't matter what they do for work or not, because people are on the internet all day and they don't leave their houses anymore. And that's not even the issue anymore. But the question is going to be, is what you say about what you want in alignment with what you attract? So for instance, if you don't leave the house, you like to stay on the couch, you like food and you like to eat, and that's your thing. And I'm not saying it in a gluttonous, over the top way. I'm just saying that's your thing. And you meet someone on the other side of the internet that as soon as they log off, they're going to the gym. They've already meal prepped, so they're living the most healthiest lifestyle they possibly can. They're going to go for a walk. They got dogs and animals. They are not sitting on the couch. That's boring to them. They are not going to go and put anything in the microwave. That's disgusting. They're going to go out to the farmer's market or to pick whatever they have out of their garden. They have a completely different lifestyle. Not saying that you're not going to be compatible, but what I'm going to say is there's no attraction. That's what happens when we think and we don't do. We think and we don't live out what we actually believe and think about ourselves. We can get connected to something, but it doesn't mean it's going to actually align and attract for us. That's law of attraction. That's when you say, listen, I am dedicated to this particular thought. So I'm no longer concerned about who I meet online and da 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 da. But let's just start simply. Let's say you want to be in a relationship. What does that version of you look like? What does that version of you look like? Let's say you're like, I got a great relationship. Not even worry about it, boo. Let's talk about it. I'm talking about the money. I want to get to the bag. I want to know where the money's at. Where does the money reside? Talk to me about where the money resides. I'm going to talk to you about where the money resides. The money resides with what you're in alignment with. The money resides usually with what you're running away from. The money resides where you run away from. Wherever someone told you, you know what, it may be a little bit better if you quiet down. You know what, I know someone who can do it better. I know someone who, you know what, I don't have as many problems. They're not going to argue. They're not going to be very specific in detail and want me to be different. And I'm wanting you to be different. So you're not going to run from it. You're not going to run from the things that you know you need to do because you're in alignment. And that's how you have law of attraction. Because what is attracted to you is because you're shining for it. You're magnetized to it. It has to be pulled into you. What you dream of dreams of you too. It has to work out. That's what law of attraction is about. You being in alignment with what is in alignment with you. So often people do not want to be in alignment with what causes them to challenge themselves. People do not want to be in alignment with what is causing them to have to make a mindset shift. People don't want to get in alignment with what will require them to let go of relationships that don't serve them. People don't want to get in alignment with that part. They'd rather stay the same and expect to get results of what it would have took if you got in alignment. No. See, alignment requires discipline. Alignment requires consistency. Alignment, it requires you to know your power and how to use it. It requires you to know some mechanics. Alignment requires you to know how to shut off the stagnation. It requires you to shut off the chatter. It requires you to shut off being excited by things that are beneath you. That's what alignment requires. If you really want to know how to get to the bag is not hustling, running yourself into the ground, sleepless nights, having worry, having stress, not knowing how to pay the bill, having to do all this paperwork. Alignment is the hustle. That's where the money is at. This right here, me talking to you on this camera, is alignment. That's alignment. It's me being myself. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm sharing information with you, me being in alignment. That's the real money. It's an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of wealth, knowledge. Listen, let's keep going. The law of assumption, you're going to assume that it's already done. I don't think you got it. You got to assume that it's already done. You can't assume it's going to happen. You can't assume that when it does happen. You can't assume that if it doesn't happen by chance, the contingency is you're going to assume it is happening. Period. It is occurring. Period. It's working itself out in my favor. Period. Because remember, I told you there's only yes when you start talking about universe, God, source. There's only yes. The negative is silence. It's not no. The negative is silence. The yes is always there. The yes is always going to be very, very clear. The silence is what people get caught up on. But yes is always going to happen. Your assumption is it's happening. The assumption is you have done the work. You are in position. You're in the right place at the right time. It's going to work out. Now, whether it's blue instead of red, or whether it's, a bird and it's not a butterfly, whatever, there may be some small nuances that appear slightly different, but the vision is still clear. You're in alignment. The assumption is it's working out. Gratitude. Gratitude is a frequency. Gratitude is a vibration. You can tell the difference between a grateful and an ungrateful person, especially when we start talking about these kids around here, or we start talking about people who don't understand that they should have gratitude even for the small things. We're not gonna split hairs today. Gratitude is absolute gratitude. You know when someone has a pure heart. You know when someone has an evil spirit. You know it because gratitude is usually what they lead with. Whether or not they lead with it is up to them. But what I'm saying is that's usually how you can tell somebody has a good heart or not. Do they lead with gratitude? And gratitude is just you recognizing and expressing thankfulness. So many people walk around here not thankful. They're not thankful till they lose it. They're not thankful till they don't. They really not thankful till they start comparing themselves. Oh my gosh, I don't have that. And since I don't have that, it's not enough. Or people who have you ever really seen somebody with nice stuff? They got real cute stuff, real nice stuff, real clean stuff, and they don't appreciate it. They don't really recognize that it's not just they had the money to pay for it. It's the simple fact that they don't realize how much went into what they have. And they're just so like arrogantly ungrateful. Have you seen that before? Because I have. And I've seen people who don't have nothing be ungrateful. They don't have anything that anybody would want, and they still ain't grateful. And you know why? Because they're going to keep getting more and more and more of what energy signature they hold. So guess what happens on the flip side? When you are grateful, and you are more and more in tune with gratitude, you get more of what you like. You're going to get more of it because you have the energy that is magnetizing and electrifying and is drawn to you. And if you appreciate it, you're going to get more of it because it likes to be appreciated too. Self-concept. Your self-concept is really how do you identify yourself. And that's how I started this video. I said to you, so many people have been living the life that someone else has programmed. So many people live the life that someone else programmed. That's the saddest thing ever. But when you divinely know who you are, and as my grandmother would say, you divinely know whose you are. When you know what you are here to do, no one can tell you about yourself. Not saying, healthy criticism is bad. What I'm saying is, no one can tell you that you should be feeling, being, having, doing a life contrary to what's authentically yours. No one can tell you you should be happy or upset or you should feel any kind of way. You will walk how you're supposed to walk because your concept of yourself is in alignment with the vision of your higher self. If you're just joining, we're talking about the Miracle Journal. It's a manifestation journal. And I'm sharing with you about self-concept. And I'm sharing with you how to use it to manifest. How to use it to transform your existence. Not in a woo-woo way, but in this is how waves, particles, and this is how frequency works. And when you can understand yourself in that type of way, you will understand everything that Einstein meant when he says, if you, oh no, it was not Einstein. I take that back. My apologies. It was, why can I see his face and not call out his name? But he says, if you want to understand the universe and how you are in the universe, you need to understand energy, frequency, and vibration. It's Nikola Tesla. You think they're using Teslas for no reason? No, they understand it's about harnessing your own energy. When you understand how you move in waves and particles and with light and sound and colors and when you can figure yourself out enough, you'll know what your identity actually is. And you'll know that that's why rooms shift when you walk in them. You'll know that that's the power of being a part of a powerful congregation. You will know that that's why things get done when you and certain partners, whether it's in business or relationships, whether it's romantic or platonic, when you link up with certain people, things shift. Because you know who you are. You're very clear on it. Your identity does not confuse you, because when those talking heads get on the news and they start talking about who belongs where and who don't belong where, you know absolutely who you are, where you belong, and what you are here to do. Let's keep going. Let's talk about affirmations. Affirmations are phrases that you have power with. This is what aligns you to the version of yourself that you see in your vision. This is what you are going to express in an energy signature. An affirmation is for your future vision to feel real in the present. Did you hear what I said? Your affirmations are for you to empower your right now present as it gets closer to your future self. Imagination and visualization. There are things we see with our mind's eye. Now, I get it. Some people have calcified pineal glands. That means they have calcified vision. They are not having growth. They are not having transformation. They are not able to cleanse themselves well. They're not able to see what should be harvested and what should be discarded. They're not seeing what should be processed and what should be let go. They're not able to see clearly when they have a calcified pineal gland. Now, if you want to get deeper into that, that means what you have consumed, whether it may have been, water that has, mud and dirt and silt and all these things in it, or you're consuming foods that have pesticides, herbicides, and different preservatives, or you may be in relationships that are toxic and just disrupting your mind and your sleep and your cells. You may be in something that is taking away from you having a clear vision. You may have had programming, whether it was how you were raised or your dynamics in your household, or how you were in school and what someone may have said to you or treated you, or how they may have, just didn't give you the same fairness that everyone else got, whoever it was, whatever it may be. There are people who have calcified imaginations. They didn't get to be a child. They didn't get to keep their innocence. And they had to not even grow up fast. Some people just grew up rough. So they don't have the ability to identify with their imaginative mind. Because if their imagination was at work, it was disassociation and trauma. Well, like I said, this book helps you get clear with your imagination and your visions. Inspired action. Now, I'm going to share this with you, and then we're going to get into some of the other parts of this book. But inspired action, it doesn't always look like what we think it should look like. Because inspired action may even be stillness. Inspired action may be you going within and getting very clear on what you're feeling so that you can journal. You know, inspired action may be you going to the river and sitting down and just listening. Inspired action may really just be some stillness, but with that, it's you moving energy still. So be very mindful that that's what inspired action is. It refers to you taking on the action that is in the alignment. It's you taking on action that's in the alignment. It's you taking on actions that's in the vision. It's you taking on actions that, because you're using the law of assumption, you're going to do the actions that you would assume to do with the vision having already happened. That's what inspired action is. It's when you get the call, you take it. It's when you get the job, you take it. When you get the offer, you take it. When you get the opportunity, you take it. Doesn't matter how it's going to happen. Somebody is going to be there to guide you along the way. Because if you doubt yourself, you're right. If you believe it's not going to happen for you, you're right. You're right, honey. But if you believe that everything happens purposely for you, and that people are thinking about you that you don't even know about, and opportunities are going to be handed to you, if that's what you believe, you're right. It's working for you. And you take inspired action. And with the last part of that, it's manifestation. It's a frequency. It's an energy. It's a vibration. It's a light. It's a sound. It's you. And you are emitting an energy. That's why some people are so lovely to be around. They emit an energy. They operate in a harmony and in a balance with not just people, but with the earth. They're organic. They're raw. They're clear. There are some people that operate like that. And I like being around those kind of people because they're an example of having a positive mindset. They're the example of having a positive outlook on life. And I like being around positive people. So frequency matters because that's the people that believe that they're in alignment with their highest self. And I want to be in alignment with my highest self. And so I would imagine my highest self is in alignment with their highest self. So why not my being here on this planet, in this plane, in this time, in this realm, be in alignment with them now? That's how things get done. When you're in alignment with people who are on the same or similar frequency. When you can harmonize together. We're going to keep going because I am not even close to being done. And I'm at 40 minutes. So now that we've gone through the introduction, if you are new here, go ahead and catch this video when I go back. When you get off of here, just stick with me now. And then when you get off of this video and this live is over, go back to the beginning and catch this. Listen, you create your reality. That's chapter 1. I told you I got started with this book. I didn't hesitate to dive right in. Here goes another Neville Goddard quote. And then they give you, again, some practices like what was the mindset you possessed. You're doing some visualization and you're getting to journal. And then it goes into gratitude and how you can understand your frequency. You're going to be either a high vibrational frequency or a low vibrational frequency. And it helps you to measure where you're at in the day. You know, if you're not familiar with measuring yourself and having self-awareness, this is a great tool to have some self-awareness. Self-awareness is, are you unconditionally loving yourself today? Or are you walking around with fear? Those are two different vibrations. And depending on the vibrations that you operate in, you're going to get a yes. So if you're operating in unconditional love and you're looking for opportunities, because opportunities are always handed to you, they're always finding you. If you're operating in unconditional love, then guess what? Those opportunities are going to come to you to continue to give you unconditional love. If you're operating in fear, those opportunities are going to come to you giving you more fear. There's no one way or another. It just is what it is. If you're operating in peace, more opportunities of peace are going to come to you. If you're operating in hatred, you're going to get more opportunities of hatred to be experienced. If you're operating in gratitude and kindness and enthusiasm, that's what you're going to get more of. Yes, 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 more of that. If you're operating in jealousy, anger, you're always frustrated and worried, you're going to get more of that. Yes, 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 you're going to get more of that. But if you know how to alter and shift your vibration very quickly, as soon as you start feeling like fear and doubt and that imposter syndrome is starting to creep up, boom, you know how to shift your reality because you know how to alter your frequency by altering yourself through affirmations. You're altering yourself through energy signatures. You know how to visualize. You know how to use your imagination. You can shift your frequency at any given time by knowing how to use your mind. Why? Because your mind is a battlefield and you got tools. Your mind is the battlefield, but you got to have some tools. You can't be out here trying to do a full-on bare knuckle fight with someone who has artillery. You're not going to be able to fight like that. But if you got the right tools, you can snipe from a mile away. You don't even got to be in the area. You may even be like you could be 50 miles away and really snipe. You don't got to even get close to fear. You don't even got to get close to hatred. You don't even got to get close to guilt. You don't have to be in despair or anger or jealousy or sadness or anxiety or having worry and annoyance. And you don't have to be lacking confidence because you know how to snipe it. You know how to clear it out. Let's talk about it. Life is simple. It gives you pages upon pages upon pages. And I'm skipping big chunks of pages and out of there, but let's talk about it. It gives you to chapter 3. It says cultivating your new dream life. And this is where I'm really finna hone into you because then we're gonna go into the next phase of this because I'm not even gonna go over it. I'm gonna stay like this. This is gonna be the video. I was gonna show the manifestation cards, but because the engagement is super low over here, I'm taking my behind the TikTok. Listen, scripting method. How do you get a dream life? Script it. You are the dream. 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 Who are you in this dream? You are everything that keeps this whole field alive. You are your dreams. You're living your dreams. You're just awake. When you go to sleep at night and you close your eyes, you still are the dream. I hope that's not going past your head. I hope it's really not. You are the dream. How do you make your dream come true? How do you make your dream a reality? How do you bring in new characters? And how do you have a new environment? How do you do a scene change, right? How do you shift this reality? You script it. Scripting is a technique where you write a letter from your future self. Or you write a letter from yourself from the future to your current self. Or you write a letter to your childhood self, your younger self, from where you are today, from what you know now. This is where you can, put that vision that you had or that dream that you had in that sleep state. You can write it out because you resonated with it. This is where you use the law of assumption to really put out, not just with thoughts and beliefs with words, but you really put it on a pen and pad and you really began to start writing out what you're focused on. That's scripting. Because remember, you are the dream. You are living your dream life right now in a literal and figurative sense. You are the dream. But if you are living a nightmare where you're not fulfilled every day, where you're walking into a house that you're not grateful for, where you are having relationships where they take more energy out of you than you are even willing to put in, like if you're living a life that is not helpful to you, it's not conducive to what your purpose is, you're gonna have to do a major change, which you can start by just scripting. Just writing it out. Some people may say it's journaling, but it's deeper than journaling. It's where you took the movie of life that you see for yourself and you started breaking it down into smaller pieces, smaller chunks, and really started giving those smaller scenes more life. A picture is worth 1,000 words, but what is a vision worth? A picture is worth 1,000 words, but what is a vision worth? It's worth the script. Let's keep going. I'm going to get to the next part. Again, lots of Neville Goddard quotes. It talks about you getting through the feeling of it. It talks about you seeing your future self. What type of playlist would you want to listen to? On my playlist, I guarantee when I get to this page, I'm probably going to do this one next. That's what? 56. The next one that I'm going to do is absolutely a playlist. There's a song that I listen to, especially since school just started, it's really at the top of my mind. But when my son's on his way to his first day of school, I always play Nino and Vince. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? But think we should be something for real. Now am I always play that song for him because I want him to be connected to that song with me. I want him to be connected to that song because I want him to be a visionary for his life. He's going to have his first day of college. He's going to have his first day of his job. He's going to have a first day of being a father. He's going to be having the first day of being a husband. He's going to have the first day of all these things. And I want him to be a visionary every time he has a first. So I share that song with him in the playlist. I share that with you because this is the next page I'm definitely going to do. But with that, you got to have a playlist. If you are walking around here and you need to be motivated, you need to be encouraged, you need to stick to the vision, stick to the plan, you need to stick to the frequency that you are taking inspired action on. If you are needing to get aligned with your higher self, what are you going to play? What do you play? This music you hear in the background, that's what I play. I started listening to steel drums so much, I went and bought a steel drum. Listen, the itinerary method, that's where you really plan out what do you see happening for yourself. Luck and opportunity affirmations. I'm going to read this out for you and then I'm going to get up off of here because like I said, I'm going over there to my TikTok because that's where the engagement is at. But luck and opportunity affirmations. Opportunities are handed to me. Opportunities are handed to me. Why is it so easy? Why is it so easy? It is always working out for me. It is always working out for me. My life is supposed to go well. My life is supposed to go well. Universe, show me how it gets better. This one right here, This is the one. Universe, show me how it gets better. I was in a car accident back in 2017. And this car accident, thankfully, only thing that got totaled out was my vehicle. And we walked away without any injuries. And because of the type of accident that it was, if it had gone any other way, if there was a variable of any other way that it could have happened, we would have died. And I left walking away from the accident, and I was shook up a couple of days. I really was. And then I said, God, show me better. Show me better. I want the good shit. That's what I said. Show me better. I want the good shit. I don't want lack. I don't want the poverty. I don't want no drama. I don't need no mess. If you're going to do something, show me better. And that is where life changed. Everything changed. I received just by existing. I received just by existing. I lived the life of my dreams because it was written in the stars for me. I lived the life of my dreams because it was written in the stars for me. Every day, my luck and blessings multiply. Every day, my luck and blessings multiply. I live in a state of perpetual happiness. I live in a state of perpetual happiness. How am I so lucky? How am I so lucky? Opportunities find me everywhere I go. Opportunities find me everywhere I go. The universe takes chances on me. The universe takes chances on me. I invite immense luck into my life. I invite immense luck into my life. I experience once-in-a-lifetime opportunities multiple times a day. I experience once-in-a-lifetime opportunities multiple times a day. Miracles happen to me every day. Miracles happen to me every day. That's how you affirm yourself. That's how you speak life into your day. It's something so simple. You can take one of them and really focus in on it, or you can take all of them and start just rotating it throughout your day. And anything that tries to penetrate your mind, it tries to really disrupt your frequency, your energy, your vibes. If you could get in contact with anything that tries to just take away from you your energy, your power, start affirming yourself, because what will happen is you'll get a confirmation in what you see that's what you're really in alignment with. So when you say opportunities are handed to me, that's what actually has to happen. But the opportunities are what you see in your field. That's based off of what you're feeling. So if you don't feel grateful, you don't get opportunities that continue to keep you grateful or make you grateful or have you hold that frequency. If you're walking around and you think life is hard, you're going to get more of life is hard. But if you're walking around saying, why is it so easy? And even people will confirm it for you. I did a pottery class over the summer, and I would make pots that I thought were just ugly. God, dog, I've taken this class before. Why isn't it feeling more natural? Why isn't it coming to me like more organically? And I would just hate it. And then people would walk by me and say, oh, that's a nice pot. No, it's not. And guess what happened? I ended up walking away from the class with nothing. 8 weeks in a class, doing pottery every single week, going in sometimes 2-3 times a week, to walk out with nothing. You know why? Because I walked around thinking it was so hard. I wasn't grateful for just the moment to create something. I was judgmental. I was always worried, carrying around frustrated energy. And then when it was like, okay, well, that's the lesson. I got it. I got the book the last week of the class. Because like I told you, I did it for my birthday. I got myself the book. I got myself into this class. I did the class during the summer. I'm a summer birthday girl. Listen, as soon as I really got into it, it clicked right away why no pot worked out. It clicked right away that everything that I made with clay, it broke. It made absolute sense why everything just went to destruction. Here's why. I was walking around saying, why is it so hard? Why do I have to struggle? Why isn't it working out like it's working out for them? Like, it was so annoying. That's the energy I got. I walked away so annoyed that I paid for this class I had absolutely no pottery walking out of. I was pissed off. You know why? Because everything I made I wasn't grateful for, and I destroyed it. Just to turn around and have nothing. So if I can share anything with you, this is a very powerful affirmation, whether you put it in your rotation or you say it all day. Why is it so easy? Why is it so easy? It's always working out for me. I love this. It's always working out for me. Right here. My life is supposed to go well. It's always working out for me. My life is supposed to go well. My life is always working out so perfectly because it's always supposed to go well. And if it looks like it's not going well, I'm just going to wait a minute and I'm just going to appreciate the silence, appreciate the stillness, appreciate the things that are not going chaotic, and wait, because I know that in a moment it's going to go great. It's going to go well. That's how you affirm yourself. You stay in that frequency of that. I lived the life of my dreams because it was written in the stars for me. I lived the life of my dreams because it was written in the stars for me. I lived the life of my dreams because it was written in the stars for me. And then you know how you piggyback on that? It's always working out for me. That's why I lived the life of my dreams, because it was always supposed to work out for me. Opportunities are always handed to me. I'm always in the right place at the right time with the right people. I love that. I love that. I am always experiencing once in a lifetime opportunities multiple times a day. And you say it enough, you believe it enough, you live it enough, you assume it's happening just like that, all of it just starts flowing in. You can have the 21-day challenge. Thank you for joining. I'm actually going through the Miracle Journal. If you've never heard of the Miracle Journal, it is a manifestation journal. I was going to do a video showing both of my tools, which is the manifestation journal and the mantras, but because I'm just going to get ready to jump off of here in about 2 minutes, you can catch me on TikTok live, where I'm talking to you about the power of this book and the power of using it as a tool to guide your visions, to guide your imagination, to guide your manifestations, and guide what you want to have happen in your life. Now, I haven't talked about this one on TikTok, but I'm going to talk about this one here, and I'm going to mention it today. This is about monthly reflections. This book encourages you to sit down for at least 5 minutes with yourself every single day. But then there are times where you need to take some assessments and some inventory about what has happened over the last little bit. So this book, as I shared in the beginning, I committed to myself on July 21st, 2025, getting this book. That means I've been using this book about 4 weeks. So now that we're getting into the monthly reflections, I'm looking at how has life progressed in the last 4 weeks? How has things changed using these tools, using these methods, using these practices? How have things transitioned for me in the last 4 weeks? Here's why. When I continue to use this book in 6 months, my life should look different 6 months from now. When you get focused on your vision, when you get in alignment with what you're really wanting to do, how you're supposed to do it, you can't stay the same. the version of you today has to look different 6 months from now. Because if you don't look different 6 months from now, it's called stagnation. You didn't do very much. You didn't shift very well. You didn't cut off and eliminate things that weren't working for you, and you didn't start doing more of those inspired actions that do work for you. You didn't shift anything. So then when you're at the same job, or if you're in the same broken relationship, or you're living in the house that still doesn't have the working stuff, or you're having certain conditions, or you're having certain ailments and issues, it's because you never shifted. You didn't shift your mind to shift your reality. It goes hand in hand. And so you're going to want to know that you need to take an assessment of yourself every single month. So I am sharing with you, this is what I'm doing, because I've been in this book exactly a month now. And with that, I'm going to take assessment of how far did I really come over the last 4 weeks. Because like I said, 4 more weeks from now, I should have transitioned even more. 6 months from now, I should start looking really different. A year from now, I'm really implementing new practices and habits that are in alignment with the higher self that I'm getting closer to. And then 2 years from now, it should be even more like blatant that I changed a lot of things. So if you're not following me, go ahead and follow me, because I'm trying to tell you, we in on this manifestation thing. It's called, how do you speak to yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you conceptualize yourself? How do you line yourself up with relationships and networks and platforms? And how do you line yourself up with your community and people around you, like your family members? How are you lining it up? Because when it's time to knock it down, you'll know if you're not in alignment, because so many things don't fall into place. So many things don't work out in your favor when you're not in alignment. Everything works out in my favor because I'm in alignment. So, like I said, I was going to do an hour today. I am at 1 hour and 2 minutes. I'm going to take a small break, and then if you are wanting to continue to interact and listen, I will be over on TikTok. It's Latoriea, just like you see here, Latoria, and then it's InMyDigitalBag. Because you will find this in my TikTok shop, InMyDigitalBag. Today, I wanted to just test out my YouTube platform. I had this really bad problem of sometimes taking a break from the internet. And, you know, when you take a break from the internet too long, it alters your algorithm. So me not going live regularly like I used to go live, you know, obviously the engagement is down. But I wanted to test out sharing this content from my TikTok over here on my YouTube. Now, if you're interested, go find a short. Go to my shorts. You're going to see this particular content. I have my link over there to get into my TikTok shop. Now, when you get into my TikTok shop, I'm sharing with you different products to use to heal not only your body, but to also heal your mind so you can become the version of yourself that you should be, which is your highest self. And in that, these particular tools are available. So if you need to know what to say to yourself, how to affirm yourself, if you need to know how do you get in alignment with the concept of who you are and who you're showing up as, how do you connect divinely, right, with your inspired actions and your inspired visions, and you do those things that require you to actually get into the flow so that you can get what you assume you're supposed to have. Your desires. That's what we talk about over there. So thank you for joining me today. Again, my name is Latoriea Q. You can find me on TikTok in my digital bag. And I will see y'all next time. Peace.